I'm working on a bunch of different projects, and I'm going to use this video to kind of show you just the different things that I have going on. There's this journal that is ready to be put in the Etsy store. It's a fabric cover. So there might be a separate video on the journal that might come after this journal. And then I have some more bears that are ready, and some little quilt packages, and then some journal starter books. So I think first I'll show you the little quilted packs. They look like this. Come in this little baggie, and I'll open one up and show you. It's a couple of little quilt squares in it with this little domino. The dominoes are all different. Some have images on the front and the back, and they're tied together, have some vintage buttons, and then the quilt squares, one is kind of all different fabrics, and the other one has some fabric with some white, like half and half. So that's two little quilt squares, and then you'll get one of my journal cards is in the pack too. So just kind of a little trying to kind of de-stash a lot of the things that I have into little usable things if people want to tuck them in their journals. And the dominoes can be used for a journal dangle. And in the video of the journal coming up, I used some of these squares for a pocket in the journal. And yeah, so there's some that have blue buttons, some have green buttons, and this is a little darker blue button. What I'll probably do is in the Etsy store, I'll sell them like pink button, blue button, or green button, and then there'll be choices if you want. It'll be like 3 buttons on the card or 5 buttons on the card. If that doesn't work, I'll have to list them all individually, but that's what I'm planning to do, is have one will be blue buttons, and then it'll have a choice of 3 buttons or 6 buttons, or then I'll have pictures of them all in the ad. It'll show the different packs that are in the choices. So some have a little darker domino in them. So I think there's about 14 of the little packs. So yeah, so that'll be one of the things in the store. And let me get these put away. That'll probably be in my vintage 58 vintage store. I have just kind of dedicated my Sue Wilson Innkeeper store to just my journals or my digitals. So it gets too confusing otherwise with all the different things in them. So then I have another Etsy store that I started to. I have a lot of old books. I sometimes order books if I want a book for a journal for a certain color, and then I get a lot of books with it. So I probably am not going to be able to turn them all into journals. So I decided I would start to destash some of my old books. So I'm going to list them. It's called The Old Book Studio is the name of that Etsy store. And it just kind of helps me keep everything separate. But they'll come like this. There's a couple of them have an authentic, original cabinet card on them from probably over 100 years ago. This one's from St. Paul. Just a little piece of designer paper. And you you can mat your image with it on your journal cover, or if you want to make a journal out of the book, or if you just like old books, and it's wrapped with this dyed muslin, and then has a matching domino that just hangs on there. It can be a dangle on your book. So your book can be gutted and turned into a journal, or you can do a altered book out of them. So there's kind of a dark blue one. This one has more of a kind of an aged image. It's all dyed and has a little more older looking to it. Has some of this satin fabric tied around with a matching domino. It has some yellow designer paper in the back of that one. I think I have about 6 of those ready. This another one is an old cabinet card with a domino, a little bit of designer paper. These two kind of match. This one has this one man. This has, I think, some brothers, 3 brothers on it. So those are those. And then there's this, and there's these two. This one has the orange paper. This is another cabinet card. They're not all cabinet cards. Some are just images. And then there's this one. Just a printed image. But everything is loose on the book. It's got that pretty fabric I like wrapped around it. You know, and then you you make your own journal. Kind of like a journal starter cover, I call them. So those are the books that'll be in the Old Book Studio Etsy store. So you can go over and check those out. And I have about 6 more that I'm ready to kind of list on there too. So I'll do that in a bit. And then I have my 58 vintage Etsy store. I have some more old bears are in there. They're just like a manufactured bear, and then I aged them to look like they're older. And this one has a hat with a flower and a rhinestone necklace that goes around his neck. It's, you know, it's been used. It's got a little bit of links missing there, and then just wearing a sweater with some pearl buttons. So that's one. Kind of cute. And then there's this one. You know, and then the sizes are in the Etsy ad. And there's this one, and she's got like a green velvety dress and hat, matching hat on. It's kind of dyed to look old. And she's wearing a little butterfly necklace on a little leather piece. So that's that one. And they come with their own little journals. I think I showed you that on the other videos. I'll show you. Some of them have them in their pouches. And then there's this one. She's got a little old apron on and this old vintage necklace. It's kind of a heavy metal on a leather strap. So that's her. On the back, then she's got this other piece of vintage jewelry holding her straps together, and it's tied. It's got a little yellow rickrack around it. And they're all kind of aged on their feet and their faces and hands. So that's her. And this one has this is what the little journals look like. They're little journals that have their pictures on them. And they have a little adoption card inside. And this one has a little pouch with a key. He's got some stitching. He looks kind of beat up, and he's wearing this black studded collar with this bead dangle, and he's got a little dangle on his pouch, and then the little journal fits in there too. So that's this one. They each kind of have their own little personality. Kind of fun to make. And this one has a cute face. It's got another pouch with his journal inside. It's got a little key with the gold chain around his neck, and he's got a little stained shirt on. That's the back. It's kind of hard to show these. These are a little bigger bear than the... And his little journal goes in his pouch too. And then the last bear is this... Oh, she's kind of old. I think it's homemade. It feels like she's got like all kinds of different stuffing in her, like styrofoam peanuts, and I don't know. It's just really, really old looking bear. It's got this little red felt tongue. She didn't have any eyes, so I put these buttons on for eyes. She's got a little bow up here and a little matching dress with a piece of vintage jewelry. No, this is an earring. The earring is stuck on there. She's got her own little pouch too with her journal inside. It matches her dress. She's got a little bead dangle on her dress. and then matching little booties, and they're all kind of tea-dyed and aged. Like I said, the details and the size will be in the Etsy store ad. So that is the last bear. So, like I said, they'll be linked below where you can find those in my Etsy store. And this is the journal that I will do a video on next. And so we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you for watching.